Hello everyone, and welcome to Zoom Basics for Educators. In this video, I want to go over all of the basic must-know features for educators and teachers, all surrounding Zoom. Everything from the settings you want to use for scheduling reoccurring meetings to how to generate an attendance report. So stick around, enjoy the meeting, and I can't wait to hear how you use these things in your Zoom meetings this semester. Okay, so one of the very first things I want to show you in Zoom is probably one of the very first things you're going to want to do for this semester, and that is to set up reoccurring meetings. Now, these can be for classes or office hours or just any standing meeting you have. So I'm going to show you from start to finish exactly how I do that. Now, I am running the most up-to-date version of Zoom as of the recording day, which is January 12th, and it is a business account provided to me by my teaching institution. So some of these may look a little different on your screen, but looking through and working with what you have, you can make a lot out of it. So I'm going to go here to Zoom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here on the left side and click Meetings. Under this Meetings area, you can see there's upcoming, previous, personal meeting rooms, meeting templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually schedule a meeting. Now, I'm going to show you me setting up my exact meeting for my semester in my biomechanics class this coming spring. So our semester starts here on January 25th. We're very lucky we start late, but we go late. So this will be my Kine 322-01 lecture session. You can do a description if you want. So this is our weekly lecture meetings. Basic. And now one of the cool things you'll notice here is there's a use a template thing. And we could get to that later, or I will go more into depth on these using templates in a video coming out on Thursday in 2 days for advanced Zoom features. So keep that in mind, but it is a powerful tool. So when is this going to be? Well, the first meeting is going to be January 25th, and it will start at 11 a.m. It's actually already there, and it goes for 1 hour. And this is Pacific time, and I'm going to say it's a reoccurring meeting. And I am going to do it, it's going to be weekly, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it is actually going to end, our last regularly scheduled is here on May 14th. And so what this is going to do is it's going to create the meetings and automatically put them in my schedule and automatically create links and everything for this. So you can use registration if you want. However, it means that students actually have to sign up for the meetings. There's some benefits to this in terms of, you're only getting students enrolled. That's kind of part of it. Or if you want to really know who's going to be there, this helps with a little bit of attendance report, but students have to register ahead of time. And so if they don't, it could be an issue. And so you can see there's some options there. I don't like doing this. I don't do required registration. You can do the passcode. I like to make the passcode something easy for them to remember. So Kine 322. Again, this is making it safe for everyone. So they're going to have the passcode or the direct link to get in. If you want to do a waiting room, you can. Personally, I don't like doing waiting rooms for my classes. I like students to filter in naturally and have some conversation and play some music as we do that. But I do require waiting rooms for office hours. So The waiting room will put them in a waiting room. You'll get the little ding like at the beginning of this video, and you have to admit each person manually. So if you put on a waiting room and you have a class of 100 students, what's going to happen is you're going to have to do a lot of allowing everyone in. I do require authentication to join. So this is another little measure where I help protect our class meeting. Only authenticated users can join. What that means is they have to be signed into a Zoom account. And when they're signed into a Zoom account, it gives me information on them. And so this is also going to set me up to run an attendance report after this meeting. And so what I do is I make sure to tell students, sign in with your CSU Chico account. That's the university I teach at. And so they're signed into their Zoom account provided by their school. They have to be signed in to get in, and then I will know exactly who's there. It shows me their first names and everything. One thing here that is a hiccup, and unfortunately it's just the way it is, sometimes students say, I can't get in, and often the problem is because they are not signed in to a Zoom account. If they're signed in, they should be able to get in. I like to default everyone's videos to off. And this just is because as soon as they join in, we don't want their video to automatically catch them in. Perhaps they were just not ready. Maybe not fully clothed, maybe not at the camera, or who knows? We've seen a lot of things, right? So this lets them turn on their camera when they are ready. Audio, you can choose your audio. Telephone makes it a bit more accessible, so I just leave it at both. I allow participants to join at any time. You can lock it this way. I also like to mute participants upon entry. This way they don't come in, and if they're playing music or in a house with friends or family or siblings, it's not really loud. If you automatically record your meetings, this is a great one to have checked so that if you want to record it, you can record it and it just automatically happens. However, I don't record my lecture sessions except for in kind of unique and specific ones, and so what I'll do is I'll always just warn them if I'm going to be recording it. But if you want to automatically record it, make sure this one is checked. And then specific regions or countries, this one's going to get iffy. Again, it's another layer of protection, but the thing is, it recognizes the region or the country they're coming from based on their IP address. And so oftentimes people will use a kind of variable IP address, which is a way to kind of ensure a little bit of internet privacy when you have an IP address that gets scrambled every time you use it. So it may come in as a different, like they're in some other region or country, or you may have international students, and so I don't like to do this. Finally, alternative hosts. This is really useful if you have TAs or you're co-teaching with someone. Make sure to put them in there. But then all you're going to do is hit save, and now what you can see is that it actually gives a invite link down here. It creates this. They're all set up all semester long. My Zoom sessions are ready to go. And there's this invite link. This is what you need. So if you right click and copy the link address, that's what you want to hyperlink on your learning management system or in your syllabus or however you get students links to the internet. This is what you want to do. I encourage you not to send an email every time, right? We're also bombarded with emails. Make this link readily available on your learning management system, and you can just title it lecture section link. They click on it and it takes them right to the Zoom session. And you can see all of your settings. You can edit them. You can add polls and things down here below. So that is the basic meeting settings that I encourage you to use for your classroom. Okay, the next few things that I want to show you are actually here in Zoom, and you might notice that I'm a little tiny person at the very top of your screen, and so let's change that. Now, there's a few different views. You can see that surprisingly friendly Godzilla here is registered as the active speaker, even though it's registering me down here. And what this is because I'm host on Surprisingly Friendly Godzilla's screen, I am large. However, and I can show you that, it's kind of ready to be mind tripped. Oh, there we go. All right. So, on their screen, as the host, I'm talking and I'm large. But for you, the instructor, I'm just seeing the dark screen, and I want to change that. One of the things I really like to do as the instructor is I go up here and next to my video, so I'm hovering over my video, pressing the 3 dots, and I'm going to pin. And what this does is it pins my screen for everyone, all of the users. And the reason I like to do this is because you want your students focused on you. This also takes away a little bit of the attention from each other and their peers. And this is great for students who are maybe worried about being in the spotlight, or the spotlight effect of Zoom, where every time they talk, they're highlighted and they become large on everyone's screen. And so it discourages camera use and it discourages talking. And so this simple setting that I use right here, pinning me, the instructor who is on camera, I actually find that in my optional classes in classes where my video cameras on are optional, I get more cameras on this way. And I can, as the instructor, if I had more people, you'd be able to see, but up along here, I can scroll through and see students up top. Now, a lot of people are like, I like to see my students. Yes, I totally agree. But to be an effective teacher, you don't have to see them, right? They are there. You can acknowledge them. You can see them. But you want to keep their focus on you. And so this pin is great. This is also a really great tool if, let's say, Surprisingly Friendly Godzilla is going to be doing a presentation. So I'm going to remove my pin as the instructor. I'm going to right-click on Surprisingly Friendly Godzilla, and I'm going to pin them. Now for everyone, they are the main person. Let's say I'm having a discussion, or you're having 2 students do a discussion together. You can pin multiple videos. And now what this would look like for everyone is these 2 people will always be on screen. So if you're having a little bit of a debate or a back and forth, this is a great way to approach this. So let me go ahead and remove his pin. Another really great thing you can do here, if you are on Windows, Alt-M, you kind of heard it there, Alt-M actually mutes everyone or unmutes everyone. And so if you have like some weird interference noise, sometimes in a large class it's hard to tell who it's coming from and you're wanting to mute that person. If you're the one talking, it mutes everyone but the host. So a nice Alt+M on a Windows computer mutes everyone or unmutes everyone. So be careful with that. On a Mac, it's the Command-Shift-M. So Command-Shift-M will mute everyone. Now, what a lot of people like to do, a couple of other things here within this meeting, your mute is right here, right? Audio on, audio off. Make sure you are paying attention to that, stopping your video. And then what you can do is if you click on the little arrow here above the video, you can choose your camera. So if your camera's not coming up and you have multiple, you can choose cameras there. But a couple of things that people like in particular is virtual backgrounds or video filters. So if you look at a filter here, what you can actually do is you could add like just silly little effects. So if you want to do that, you can, right? You could kind of just change the setting. I'm not a huge fan of that, but you know, you can do what you want to do. You could have antlers if you want. You could have a beanie, you know. So the other thing a lot of people like to do is virtual backgrounds. And now these are just any image or video. You can actually load videos as your background. And I'm going to show you something really cool here in a moment. But what you can do is have these as your background if you are worried about your background being something your students can see. So if you're wondering how to do that, that is exactly how. So just go into virtual backgrounds and click. And you could get there easily with this little arrow, choose virtual background, and choose your background. You could also do fun things like prank your students by rotating your camera. So you could say, what do you mean I'm upside down? I'm not upside down. What are you talking about? It must be on your end. Sometimes you can play the pranks on your students, and that's fun as well. So just silly little things there, but there's a lot that you can do within here. A couple of other things, if you want to see the participants, you can click on this participant window and you see everyone there, and they actually have little answers they can give. There's also the mute button in here as well. And let's see, so you can do a whole bunch of different things right there. You can just click on the participants window again to make it go away. The chat here is something I always like to have open. Make sure you are paying attention to who you are chatting, as whether it's going to everyone or someone specifically. I really like that. And then there's also reactions. So some basic reactions here within Zoom. And breakout rooms are right here. If you want to do a breakout room, that's actually one of the next things I'm going to suggest an activity for. So let's go ahead and shift into that. So let's say you want to do a breakout room. We're here in Zoom, and you're going to go to more and do breakout rooms. Now, if you have groups that are pre-existing, there's some advanced ways that you can go in here and create groups ahead of time, but you need all of your participants' emails, and they need to have registered and logged in with that email. So it can get clunky if not everyone is on the same page, but it's totally possible. You can choose a couple of different ways. One of the cool new features, new in terms of the last few months, is letting participants choose their rooms. So this is great if you want to do like a poster breakout type session. You can create 4 rooms, assign each one of the presenters to one of the 4, and then let everyone else choose where they want to go and what session they want to attend. That's a great way to do this. You can assign it manually if you want, or assign automatically. And what you will do is create the number of breakout rooms you want, and down here at the bottom it will tell you how many people will be in each room. So that's your guide. Now with breakout rooms, one of the ways to make them the most effective way is it can be hard for you to keep track of everyone, and once they go into their breakout rooms, it's hard for you to communicate with everyone. And so people will lose the link or the instructions or things like that. So you want to have some sort of shared document or clear goals going into the breakout room. And you also want to keep breakout rooms short. We all know students can get off track, right? There's a reason you have to facilitate your classroom. So the shorter the breakout rooms, the more effective they are, and clear goals also make them effective. One of the ways that I do that is actually with this breakout room assignment template. I created this assignment template, and every time I want to do a collaborative group assignment in a breakout room, I just go from this template. And if you're interested in getting this template and all my other ones, I'll have a link for it down in the description below. But what we're doing here is there's the title of the activity, the class instructor. This is the title slide, so everyone knows what they're doing. I share it with them, give everyone editing privileges, and then in the instructions. So find your group slide and put your name on it. So if they wound up in group 2 or room 2, they're going to find the slide that says group room 2, and they're going to put their name. And there we go. And now, then they'll have the instructions and they go through the assignment on it. One of the really cool things that I like about this Google Slides versus a Google Doc is Google Slides gives each of your breakout rooms a self-contained room, so to speak, a self-contained slide where they can do all of their work rather than scrolling through this big long page trying to find everything. It also gives you, as the facilitator or the instructor, a bird's eye view of what is going on in each room. So as you and your students work through your activities and assignments, you could see their work popping up through here, and you could pop into a room and say, hello, like, where are you? So it gives me a fast way to communicate quickly to students. What I'll often do is I'll say, my text is going to be in purple. So if you see purple text appearing on your slide, that's coming from me. And that's just how it is all semester long. And so students quickly know that if some purple text appears on their slide, that's feedback from me. So what I will do is I'll fly through these things, giving feedback as they are working on it without having to jump around between rooms and worry about all of that. I really love this for facilitating breakout room activities and taking Zoom meetings to the next level. Okay, the last thing that every teacher and educator should know how to do within Zoom is to run an attendance report. Now, I've heard a lot of creative ways to take attendance, and those work great. Things like I keep a log of the chat, or submitting an assignment, or a Google Doc, or quick responses, or polls, or things like that. Those are all really great ways to take attendance. However, here's the issue with them. You as the instructor then have to go back and manually dig through the chat for every one of your 150 students 3 times a week. That's a ton of work that you don't need to do. And we all know how busy you are. In fact, a lot of you watched my course map video that released yesterday. And if you haven't, it'll be right above. But a lot of you are like, where am I supposed to find time to do that? It's a weekly checklist, so don't panic. But maybe stop scrolling through chat in Zoom to take attendance and run an attendance report. So let's go ahead and look into that. What I'm going to do is I'm here in my account center. I'm going to go to Zoom. And now that I'm in the main area of my Zoom online portal, so I'm on the web portal for Zoom, I'm going to go to reports. So over here on the left-hand side, reports, click on it. And then now there's going to be 2 options, usage and meeting reports. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused and they go right to meetings because they want a meeting report. It's some pretty bad terminology on Zoom's part. However, the key thing you want to look for here is under usage, view meetings, participants, and minutes. Now, those are the 3 things you're after, is the meetings, who was there and how long were they there, right? Whereas this one does registration reports and poll reports. Now, if someone registers for it, great, but what if they don't show up? So we want actual usage. So I click here to usage. Now, what I'm going to do is you can see from a few little examples that you saw actually earlier in this video, there's the meetings that happened today. And if I click on participants and I click right there, you can see that Surprisingly Friendly Godzilla was in and out a whole lot, and then there was me. So I could show unique users, and then I see Surprisingly Friendly Godzilla was there, and I was there. But let's actually look at an actual class. So I'm going to go back into this first week of December by changing the date range up here and clicking search. So you could search specifically for a very specific due date or date range. And let's say I need to run an attendance report for this biomechanics lecture. There was 41 people here. So I'm going to click on the 41 and click that show unique users button. And it gives a nice clean range of who was there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click export. And you can see it downloaded a CSV file, which is like an Excel file that I can now use to just alphabetically categorize attendance. And if you really get advanced, you can code your gradebook to search for last names and just count it automatically. So what I do is I set up a little bit of time at the beginning of the semester to have my gradebook automatically search and pair last names. So what it does is it compares the last name on the roster to the last name within these meeting minutes. And if there's a match, it puts a 1. If there's no match, it puts a 0. So what this does is it allows me to take attendance in all of about 10 to 15 seconds, right? Open this up, click on the date, export, copy it into my gradebook, and my attendance is done. It's a great way. It's a really powerful way to run attendance in Zoom. Thanks for sticking it out with me in this basics for Zoom for educators. Now, this was hopefully everything you need to know to set up and run Zoom meetings just at a basic level, and some nice tidbits in there for fostering activities and a few fun things as well. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you found this helpful, please let me know in the comments below. Liking this video and subscribing to the channel really helped me out. I'm a full-time educator, a father of 2 boys, one with Down syndrome and special needs, and trying to do this as well. And so your support makes it all worth it. And knowing that I made your life a little easier means the world to me. So I would love to hear how this helped. And if you are an advanced Zoom user, keep an eye on the channel, because in 2 days, I'm going to go over some advanced Zoom tips that you probably haven't seen before or didn't realize Zoom. On screen, I have a couple of other videos for you if you're interested in watching those. And keep an eye on the screen after I hop off, because all the social media and where to find me will be there. We'll see you next time.